Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for The Promised Neverland Season 2 on Toonami. And I did not like this season. Now, I had heard, that this season went kind of oof when it was first premiering, and I'm just like, okay, let's kind of see how this goes. And I can understand the big oofness on this, man. They went I would pretty much compare it to kind of what happened to Game of Thrones. Except they had a lot of shit that they could have done, and they just condensed it down into 11 episodes. So the pacing is whack. Character development is breakneck speed, and the last episode has to do so much fucking work to showcase what happens that it's an insult because you could have fucking done an entire season, or at least another 11 episodes, kind of detailing what was going on in that episode. You're just like, fuck me, what? Lord, there's just so much lore and world building and shit that they just kind of tossed. Now, granted, I have not dug deeply into it, but just from what you see here, you're like, we learn more about the demons and kind of their ecosystem of meat distribution and shit like that, but it's not dived in well enough. You're just given surface level. Other kind of experimentations they do. You don't really see any other kids until the end of that are in the other houses, and you don't really get there. There becomes a part where they pretty much have a magical MacGuffin that kind of solves a lot of problems. That pretty much becomes like a MacGuffin because they don't really explain much of what's going on with it. And then you're just like, that was around, and I can understand, power and shit like that, but this is this most asinine fucking move you can possibly make with any kind of civilization. It's essentially having a built-in fucking nihilistic suicide switch of, yeah, we're kind of going to be alright, but if they don't get what they need, they're going to become giant fucking demon things and eat us. Which then would turn, I don't know, it's fucking just eat them or kill them or beat the shit out of them. It's fucking, granted, if they did eat them, it would just become a giant Ouroboros fuckfest until eventually there'd be one left. So, the beginning part is seeing Emma and Ray's group pretty much trying to get to a Minerva bunker. And along that route, they run into Sanju and Mujika, two demons that do not need to eat people to retain their intelligence. Because evidently that's a thing. That they have to eat, they become whatever they eat kind of thing. Which I can kind of get to a certain extent, but it's really fucking on the nose when there's monster demons around and they're acting like monsters. But if they eat a human and has some kind of intelligence, it's oh no, I'm Socrates, I'm a philosophizer, but I will still eat meat. What? Okay, it's just too on the nose and too kind of I understand and kind of agree with the basic premise of what they're trying to do of how do you ethically eat meat, and what does that mean if you're eating something that has intelligence and feels pain like this and all that. It's those are big fucking questions to deal with and need to be handled better than kind of this ham-fisted way of racking it in 2 seasons worth. It is just so clumsily mishandled and executed. It's just okay. And I say that because they kind of help them. They give them food and everything and pretty much send them on their way. And Sanju's yeah, we should let them go because, free-range humans, blah, blah, blah. And then he never shows any inclination of ever eating human meat after that. It was just mainly to be a plot misdirect for the audience. And whenever you do something like that, which is you break a character for no reason other than to put artificial suspense in, that's not good. Okay? That's just alright, then why the fuck do you help them? Oh, because they'll be free range. Alright, then why the fuck do you help them later? don't know. Because I'm gonna be a badass and beat ass and do that. Yeah. Kind of. So, the kids pretty much putter around and get around to Minerva's place, and there's like nobody's there. People freaking out because evidently somebody like found them or whatnot, and they get like a recording telling them about certain kind of stuff, but then they get found out by like a human demon. How do I explain this? A human squad sent to find them that is employed by the demons, which we never really see where the humans would be kept, since there would have to be, if there's humans that are helping the demons, they would need to fucking live somewhere. If they've got like towns or settlements, they would have to be close to like the upper royalty, and we never really fucking see that shit. It's like, alright, fine, whatever. But how, like, the kids escape pretty much, no casualties ensue, and the team gets wiped out by a giant thing, and Emma pretty much acts kind of sacrificatory, but Ray kind of helps her out. We also get a thing where they talk with the Isabella chick, and they're like, you're gonna help us get those kids. And it's like early on in the season, and we hear fuck off from her until the fucking end. It's like, alright, whatever. Roll it. Do whatever. You don't give a shit, evidently. So, they're trying to figure out what's going on. That place is done for, so they pretty much hide out in this kind of religious place for the demons, and this old dude keeps, like, bringing offerings and shit, and is blind, evidently, and can't tell that they're humans, at least at this point, at least we're led to believe. Sweet Jesus. And they're pretty much trying to figure out, what they can do and where they can go. Sometimes they send them in looking like demons to see what's going on. But we find out about the whole degeneration thing, where if the demons don't eat the human meat, they degenerate into pretty much mindless beasts. It's like, alright, that's one way to make a completely fucked up population, but go right ahead! Well, one of the kids kind of pretty much bumps into one of these people that needs kind of like the meat, so chase ensues, but they get rescued by other humans, and it's Norman. So then we get into the convoluted thing of the Lambda Project, where evidently Norman was not killed, but instead was taken by this rat tree dude, whose brother was actually Minerva, and he had his brother killed because he was fucking nuts, because he found out about the whole promise of like farming the humans and thought it was a fucking horrendous thing. It is. And the one that we're following is like, no, we're protecting this legacy. It's like, alright. He's got like, because evidently their family betrayed the rest of the allies and stuff like that and pretty much fed him to the demons. And it's like, yeah, we're doing this to protect the world, the promise and shit. It's like, okay. That's pretty much the extent of his shit. It's really thinly explained because it happens at the last fucking, like, last 2 episodes. Like, alright, whatever. But Norman got taken by this rat tree dude and was pretty much experimented on with drugs, and then he was like, fuck this noise. Blows up the place pretty much, takes out some other people, and they're pretty much fucked up and shit, and Norman is dying, and he's got a thing that he has made drug-wise that will make all the demons degenerate and fucking go and pretty much wipe him out. So he's going the pretty much nihilistic annihilation kind of thing, and so are the other Lambda people, and they're like, yes, yes. And the thing is, I understand them trying to be like, hey, these humans are acting like the demons because the demons kind of fucked them over. It's like, yeah, this chick eats demons and shit and fucking goes rah. But the thing is, we don't have enough time to make that transition of like, she deals with her shit and stops being like that. It really doesn't. You need more time to execute that kind of turn, because she's first like, kill all the demons, eat them too, to I'm gonna follow these people and not do this shit and not kill these little baby people. Little baby demons. It's like, alright. Granted, I'm fine with the turn from being an asshole to not as much of an asshole. I need more time than the time allotment here. So, we find out that Emma and Ray figure this plan out for Norman's like, this is horrendous, we shouldn't do this, because Emma doesn't want to kill the demons. I'm like, yeah, there's got to be a way to not do this, because there's a whole kind of other socio-political thing of the royals are like, we got our meat, and we evidently don't need to eat it, but we eat it anyway, and we use it to control the populace to just be assholes and dicks. That's about the extent of it. Could it be deeper because of the manga or the lore and everything associated with it? Sure, but that is not present here. We only get that there is very limited meat supply for the people, for the demons, and that a lot of them are like having problems degenerating because of that. It's like, all right, I need more than that, but okay. And it's like, yeah, they're just like us and just like them. The thing is, we also find out that Mujika has this special blood that if you drink it, you don't degenerate ever again. And it's like, all right, I need more explanation than that. Tough shit, motherfucker. You don't get that here. It's like, okay, then she's MacGuffin Girl with the power of the MacGuffin. Stinky Diver, former Navy commando with an attitude as bad as his odor, and Melt Man with the power to melt. Action League now. Yeah, that's random, but that's kind of what it felt like. So she's like puttering around because at first they're like, oh, our religion's like, we don't want to eat meat. And it's like, okay, but then we got this thing and they're like, you kind of need to eat meat, otherwise you go kind of nutsy-butsy woo-ha. It's like, alright, so evidently it's the blood thing. But the thing is, what happens is if she gives her blood to somebody, their blood also does it too. So it's not like you have to fucking Capri Sun her ass and that's it. And it's like, hey, we're on one. Because we find out that the old ass motherfucking demon dude, he also has that same kind of blood as well. Because Norman's like, alright, fine. She's got that blood, the evil-blooded girl. Go find her and shit, and I'll delay my shit. And he's like, nah, we're fucking doing this shit. And pretty much sets this one town into fucking degeneration mode. And everyone's like, wow. But he's getting ready to, like, kill people, but he doesn't want to because he doesn't want to be that full-on dick. I think he could be full-on more dick in the manga, comparatively, because I heard shit about him being pretty much like a genocide ass dick motherfucker. But the thing is, we keep going back and forth between him with this blade and the blood, and of course Emma and Sanju and Mujika pretty much pop up, and they see him as like this scared little kid, and they stop him from doing it. The grandpa dude's able to get his granddaughter chick to like take the blood. They're able to get everybody pretty much back into control, minimal kind of like deaths and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, but you still need to kind of like fix that shit, bro. And then they come up with their plan to pretty much help Phil and the others and get all of the farms kind of put, because evidently there's a doorway to the human side, and it's pretty much like under Grace Fieldhouse. So they pretty much do their plan. They pretty much kerfuffle these demons' forces and are able to pretty much do their kind of guerrilla tactics to get there. Then, of course, we see that the mother, Isabella, yeah, pops up, and with the rest of the sisters, it's like, oh shit, they're fucked. But evidently, she's pretty much working with them, and she wants them to have a better life. It's like, all right, cool. They were able to get like their like explosives and shit out, and the Ratchet dude's like, fuck this shit, and tells him his little sad story, and then kills himself. Even though Emma's like, why don't you come with us? And it's like, all right. Now, him killing himself isn't the biggest issue. It's just we get info dumped with his whole story and shit, and then it's just like, fuck it! And then he kills himself. It's like, alright, I need more time for that kind of course to have an action to make sense and for it to be executed better than just like, alright, cool, whatever. So they're able to go down, they get into the door. Emma and most of her cadre, like Ray, Norman, and the Lambda people, stay back to kind of like create a new promise. And the rest of the kids pretty much get to pretty much New York City. And they work around the life, they get older. We see the fucking slideshow shit of like Emma talking to all these kind of demons and shit, getting the demon world into order. And Mujika's able to like get all of her shit together because when they were doing their attack, they had a lot of the supposed lower class demons with her blood, and they were just beating wholesale ass. I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's the Stormtrooper effect. I don't need them to just completely whoop ass, but I need them to have enough of a fight to be like, okay, these were like the Royals Guard, but the thing is that if you explain it of like there's never been an uprising of this level kind of before, where people are just like eat shit and fuck off, and they had gotten complacent even though they were supposedly the elite guard, I can deal with that. But until that is de factoly shown and explained, I'm gonna go with like, oh, they're highly trained, but they got their asses kicked like this. You need to explain that kind of shit, all right? Because it's like the Empire getting its ass kicked by Ewoks. Now, granted, there was more work involved for that to actually occur because they didn't expect a bunch of small woodland teddy bears to completely beat their asses with sticks and rocks. Though you would think that they would be able to kind of like fight at least a little bit more effectively with what was going on. Ugh. Do not fuck with Ewoks, alright? Especially in the expanded universe. There's one that had like a fucking death sentence in like systems, and he was like not taking any shit. That was pretty cool. That was a good story. Better than what was going on here. So, we see the slideshow. They pretty much get the Demon's World in order. Mujika is able to be queen, and Emma and them are older. Not much older. If anything, I would go like at least late teens as they get back. And we see like some of the sisters finally having the kids that they ever wanted. And we see an older Philip, and they all tearfully hug and everything's like, oh, okay, that's kind of alright, nice. I mean, I liked that kind of thing, but the journey to get there was fucking stupid. The show had a nice concept and premise, and then just fucking thunder sharded its way to the end. This was a bad season. It just... And that doesn't mean that there aren't any good story elements that were in here. It was executed poorly. Character shit was rushed. Pacing is all over the place. And your resolution is just had to have been punched through a goddamn wall because it had to be done so fast. What in the fuck? Okay, that was weird. But whatever. So... if you liked the first season, just pretend that the first season, it just ended there. Because this, I'm glad I know when I do my reviews, and when I say that there's certain things that make me be like, why did I watch this? I watch this so that I can understand what works and what doesn't, and what I like and what I don't like within mediums. And this, I was glad I watched it because I could understand how you can take a great kind of concept and execute it in such a poor fashion to be like, wow, this isn't good to the people involved, we're making it, and the people who consume it as the audience. Because there was some weird shit going on with the animation quality as well. It never fell to like horrendous shit quality, but faces looked kind of weird, movements kind of happened in kind of weird kind of aspects at certain points, and it was just like, what the fuck's going on here? If you're a fan of it, diehard fan, you gotta see how it ends. Go ahead. If you gotta see how it ends, I would honestly just recommend you probably go for the manga. Now granted, I've not read the manga, and I've not seen how the manga ends in comparison to this, but I would probably go to the source material more than I would go for this. Honestly, I wouldn't even want it on in the background. There's better stuff that you could have blaring in the background if you want. Better stuff that you can like see cool character development and weird kind of interesting takes on worlds. I would recommend a lot of other things. If you want something kind of similar to this with a weird kind of techno-futuristic kind of steampunking kind of shit going on, go Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Better characters, better development. Granted, it is longer, but they really dive into some heavy concepts on there and deal with a lot of different kind of similar kind of themes potentially. I mean, like war, the morality of acts and stuff like that, and kind of like the search for the truth and all that, and what we can do to kind of like make the world better. Broadly. But yeah, I would recommend any other anime over this. If you're a fan, go for it. And I hope you're satisfied with it. Because if you liked it, good. If you liked how this resolved it, I'm happy for you. That's good. My intent is not to take that enjoyment away. Alright? Never is. I always like to have a dialogue to see what works for people and what doesn't work for people. This just overall did not work for me. And they just made so many decisions that's like, this could have definitely been double the length. And I rarely fucking say that kind of shit. Usually, most of the time, I see things that are, like, drawn out to such a degree, it's talking about, like, Bilbo Baggins feeling like butter spread on, like, too much toast. So, when I'm like, yeah, you needed more time on this shit, you needed more time on this shit. So those are my opinions on this season. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.